Hello everyone. In this video, we will talk about reciprocal. When we first learn reciprocal, some folks will tell you that a reciprocal of a number just swap numerator and denominator, right? So, for example, if I have a fraction 3/4, the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. Another example, I have 5/4. And a reciprocal of this number is 4/5. Okay, one interpretation of reciprocal, you can understand that when we take that number, multiply with the original number, you get 1. For example, if we have 4/3 multiplied by 3/4, you get 1. Or you take 4/5 multiplied by 5/4, we get 1. Okay, another way to think about reciprocal, that is if you take 1 divided by this number 3/4. One interpretation of this is 1 divided by 3/4, like uh, how many of 3/4 fit into 1. And if you look the above equation, you will get the answer that is 4/3, right? Or in the second example, if you take 1 divided by 5/4, and that's similar like the question, how many of 5/4 fit into 1? And look at the above Look at the above. Look at the above equation. You will get the answer here is 4/5, and that's a reciprocal of 5/4. Okay, let me give you another example, another straightforward example, just easy example. I have a fraction 1/2. So, how many of 1/2 fit into 1? One interpretation of a reciprocal. So I have 1 divided by 1/2. How many of 1/2 fit into 1? Let me draw a rectangle. A rectangle is as a whole. And 1/2 here. The question is how many of 1/2 fit into 1? So we have 1/2 here and another 1/2. So we have 2 of 1/2 fit into 1. So the answer here is 2. Okay, does it make sense? Now, let's move on another example, that's a little bit more nuanced. Let's move on another example, like I take example the above, that is above example that 3/4. So how many of 3/4 fit into 1? How many of 3/4 fit into 1? Okay, let me draw a rectangle. A rectangle is as a whole, and I will divide it into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 3/4 here. 3/4 here. How many of 3/4 fit into 1? Let's assume that is as a whole is as 1. So we also have another quarters here, and this quarter is just 1/3 of 3/4, right? 1/3 of 3/4. So the answer here is 1 divided by 3/4, that is 1 and 1/3. And this means 4/3, right? Okay, another example that's more difficult than this above example. If I take 4/3, so what is a reciprocal of 4/3? If I take 1, how many of 4/3 fit into 1? Okay, again, we also represent by rectangle. So I divide each rectangle into 3 equal parts. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And we have here 4/3. So I have 1/3, 1, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. Okay, here is 4/3. So I give it as a 1. I use it as a 1. So that's even that's don't even fit into 1. That's don't even fit into 1. So how many of 4/3 fit into 1? Look, we have a whole rectangle. A whole rectangle is 1. So a whole rectangle is mean that's it. 3/4 of 3/4 of 4/3 fit into 1. So the answer here is 3/4. Okay, does it make sense? That's it.